The reality is that we invest mentally into a concept of someone, and when that is lost, whether it's your fault, their fault, whatever, that's grief. I'm Courtney Brown, and I just had a life-giving conversation with Soul Repair 360.
Conversations, open the door, speak your truth, let it show. Healing hearts, we want more. Conversations, that's the core.
Today we have with us Courtney Brown. I'm not going to read a little bit off of this bio here, but she is near and dear to my heart, so I'm going to ad-lib a little bit on the tail end. So let's get into the logistics. Let's talk about the credits and the attributes here. She's the Chief Program Development Officer for Habitat for Humanity, East Central Ohio. She has served in various roles at Habitat over the last 12 years, and during your tenure, you enhance existing partner family education programs and develop holistic educational curriculum for families. Your work has helped make the affiliate a national model, hosting affiliates from across the country who come to learn from the program. Courtney has led workshops at both the state and the national level and the international level. Come on. She has participated in Global Village Build in El Salvador. I do remember your Instagram posts where you walked across the sand without your shoes. That was a very quick video. She was like, I'm here and I said, video went out. Yeah, I remember that.
It was over.
Yes. She is passionate about working alongside staff who seek to put God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes and communities of hope. A native of Canton, Ohio, graduate of Baldwin Wallace College, Bachelor of Science degree. We're going to see that in just a second. But I call her a very dear friend, one of the most fascinating conversationalists I have ever known. To speak with you is to have a deep conversation, one that you can swim in, sit in, soak in, and emerge from much better than when you went in. So I'm so glad to have you here. Cobro, I affectionately call her Cobro. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Courtney.
Yeah, thank you for having me, both of you. And I don't take these things lightly. And yes, reading that, it seems like, I'm even listening to that like, really? But it really all stems from conversations with people like you that bring innovation and excitement and energy and passion into the work that we all do. So thanks for having me for this.
Yeah. One's gotta go. Girlfriends, living single, a different world, or insecure?
Girlfriends. Oh, I feel like I'm betrayed.
I'm about to say
I know that one is a tough one.
Oh, I love girlfriends.
One's gotta go.
Okay.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, or Anita Baker.
Oh, come on. I am betraying the culture with this. Probably Anita Baker. I know.
It's the whisper. It's the whisper.
Here's
Everybody
the thing.
whispers.
I'm going so deep as to say who impacted the culture. Like the music, yes, love the music, the voice, but the influential art that went beyond.
That
went
so
beyond.
She's most likely was inspired by
somebody else in that. So
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair. No wrong answer. Unless we have to
revoke.
cook out.
And then it's like don't bring it. Yeah, don't bring it back up, y'all, because I'll be embarrassed.
Top 3 things in your emotional emergency kit. No wrong answers.
Time. If I'm allowed to, I know I can't change time, but how I'm viewing time is the number one. As in, stop, look at time and what you're doing in a different way. Probably my calling a relative, probably in that. And getting horizontal. So I always say I'm en route to horizontal, which is just laying flat. And I've had times where I just have had to lay flat on my floor, whether it was on my stomach or on my back. It's almost like just get down, and that is my go-to. Like, lay down where you are, and it helps me in an emergency.
Literally
get grounded, get horizontal.
I might have to try that one. Top 3 people you call when life is lifing.
My aunt Ida, my boss, who's one of my closest friends, Beth, and depends between mom and dad. They meet different things, but they're probably number 3. And that the thing about parents, not that y'all need a dissertation about everything, but the thing about parents as an adult child is I'm always mindful of their worry, and so they did all the stuff for me emotionally as a kid and all of that, but as an adult, and our roles are starting to change. While they might have been the first call for many years, now I'm so much more mindful of how they're going to try to clothe themselves in my issue, because they're still parents. You don't ever stop being parents. So when it's not a big deal and life is life, and just because it is, not because it needs to be fixed or something to necessarily worry about, I'm kind of like, maybe my parents aren't for this conversation, because they're going to hang up the phone and then take on. And that's not always what I'm asking.
So I'm glad you took the time to explain it.
Yeah.
It says a lot about you, you know? A lot of grown folk don't think about how their parents feel about what they done.
Sure. The other side of that coin is like, if my dad saw it, he'd be like, his sister is Ida. So you'd be like, you call your aunt before you call me, I'm your dad. You know, so I have to explain.
He'll be watching it like, okay,
I get it.
We keep saying this question is gonna get folks in trouble. That's what Danielle told me. But it's a curiosity.
Sure. I've never really thought about it, but thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna keep it coming. All right. Top 3 albums that help you heal.
Well, I'm it's based on the season I'm in and what kind of healing I'm going for, but I do love Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's a top to bottom for me. There's Light, I think it's Light Under the Sun or Of the Sun of a Jill Scott. That's a top to bottom for me. And then probably something from Beyonce, depending on if I'm trying to dance, get through the healing, or feel like I'm empowered, you know. So probably something from her.
I love it. What is your most Black church kid memory that still lives rent-free in your head?
Oh, so much lives rent-free. So I grew up in Pentecostal, so very charismatic church, tongue speaking, all that stuff. And so we had to go to a tearing service. I'm young too, like my cousins, all of us. Friday night, the church is dark, we got candles. This might sound a little cultish now that I'm thinking about it. And we're just praying for God to give us this, to be able to speak in tongues, the Holy, the Holy Ghost. And all you have to do is say hallelujah all the time, right? When you are sitting there with your cousins on Friday night saying hallelujah a bunch of times and realizing you have not gotten what they said you should get, or hallelujah is a hard word. You're going to slip into some kind of tongue eventually. And so you do, and you're like, oh, I got it. Then it's like, no, I don't. And so that lives rent-free, and all of us like looking at each other praying like, did God come see you yet? Here's the deeper, sadder truth to that is for so many years thinking that whatever it was, that my heart wasn't purposed enough for God to want to visit me. And that's a hard truth to live in for so many years. But yeah, that lives rent-free. And we like, did you get it? Like, no, he is not. Maybe there's some, I'm like 9. I'm like, there must be some sin in my heart that he can't get through. Like, I don't know what it is.
I see y'all with baby hands.
Yeah, we like,
I haven't been here long enough to
even know. Like, we didn't know. And so,
can you let the folks know what you're working on and how they can find you?
Yes. So, like I shared earlier, I am a part of Habitat for Humanity East Central Ohio, and we have an incredible staff and great vision, great leader, and we're looking to expand our program. So right now we work with hardworking families achieving affordable housing. We do intentional programming leading up to homebuyer education, which includes a lot of what we're talking about, because we talk about the home in which you'll never leave on this earth, which is this body, and how take care of this. And these are just walls, it's about who inhabits it. So that's been really great, and that's what we've done a lot. But then we have sold 672 houses since our started. So there's a lot of people out there after. So a lot of my work with the team is, what does post-purchase look like? What does, because a lot of the families were so intentional, we're so with them, they had this affordable mortgage, they get their keys, they buy the house, we're their bank, and we say, go have a great life. We're so proud of you. We're not landlords, you own your house. And a lot of them are saying, where'd you guys go? Right? Where'd you guys go? I miss the emails. I send an email every week. People say, I miss your emails every week. And I'm like, well, it was just for assignments. Like, you had to, but there was community. And that is what we do really well, is community. And so we're like, we got to start tapping into the post-purchase community. And so we're going to start something called family dinners, and we're going to take sessions. You guys can come out and teach one if you want. Hold them to it. Topics like this, and we'll have dinner together, and we'll have programming for their kids, and then have parents come together and talk about these things. And people could be experts or not experts. We'll have different speakers, but we want to have series that are called family dinners, where we bring back people who already live in our houses to come back and keep that conversation going, because they miss it. And we're so dead set on getting the house sold and getting them ready that people are like, I still want to talk about fear. I still want to talk about weakness. I still want to talk about this, parenting. And so that's what we'll be working on. And so we think about back to school, and, someone on my staff was like, the place, the one nonprofit, they're giving away backpacks and they're giving away shoes. And I'm like, love that. I said, but let's go deeper. What does your family need when you start school? What is it? Do you need backpacks, or, He's like, well, no, me and my wife would figure that out. I said, okay, what do you need? A plan. A plan. More than 10 issues, we need a plan of how we are going to do this year together. We need a structure. We need time to figure out are we going to eat to dinners together? Who's got what sport? How are we going to approach the third grade? Now you're learning multiplication. That might be hard for you. How are we going to deal with that? Which parent is going to work on that? And that's where we got the idea of the family dinner. It's like, we're going to go deeper than the things that people need. They do need that, but let's go to the depth of a family, because a father or mother who's dealing with their anger issue is going to go a lot further than the backpack. And that's what we're about to focus on, is, can we get parents and kids, and we're no experts, but people usually figure it out when they're in community, right? It doesn't take an expert. Right. They're talking to each other, and they're figuring it out in community. And the goal that I have in mind, that our team has in mind, and I said, if we get a family to get in the car and say, you know what we talked about today? I said, then our goal's met. That's our goal. Our goal isn't to make this family into this or that. Our goal is that when they get in that car, they say, guess what we talked about? I never thought about fill in the blank. That's what we're seeking to do.
Is there anything in particular that is really giving you a zeal, or?
Sure. Potential has always just pulled me of the next thing or the thing I'm in. Any information that I have, giving it away as fast as I can. And so I'm always chasing that, because I'm always seeking information. And so that fuels me, like, oh, I learned something today. I can't wait to tell somebody. I can't wait to turn this into a program, or this is a thought someone introduced to me. This is a book. This is a movie. This is a song. So that has always fueled me in every season. But right now I feel like I have capacity and a platform to do that on a larger scale. I do that in my personal relationships, but maybe even just people in general.
Is that what drew you to Habitat?
God in such a loving way drew me to my purpose when I was in a spirit of desperation. Like from a career standpoint, I was 25. Danielle helped me a lot through that time, and just very confused. For people, millennials, who they're saying is the most educated generation in our country's history on paper, because we were pushed to 4-year college, right, blah, 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 blah. There's this, like, panic that happens to many of us, not everybody, at 22, when everyone's like, this is next, and then you're gonna get to this. And then you're 22, you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything. Like, my degree's in chemistry. So, I'll just leave that there. But,
okay.
And instead of changing my degree in school, I was so concerned about finishing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to finish. So I'd rather finish in a degree that I have no interest in than finding what I'm interested in. And I think the next generation is going to get that different. I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they won't get pushed in the same ways with the debt that we have and all that stuff. But anyway, so I was in a place between jobs, between purpose, not knowing what God had for me. I was in my spiritual bag, I would say. Like, I was close to God in that time. And I'm sometimes a little like, I feel bad because the way that I was with God in that season was so close. And I remember you saying, Danielle, like, you're going to miss this. But, like, I had no money. I was losing weight. I was going through. And not only that, I just didn't feel like there was a place for me. And so, but in that time, I was very reliant on God. And so in that desperation, I linked up with an old friend, an old teacher, and we got connected to Habitat, which is in my hometown, which I vowed, like most kids, to never return to. And so, but it happened at the right time. I was in a place of, like, I was open. I was ready. Had that happened at any other time, I would have looked down on the fact that I was going back to Canton. I would have said, oh, this is not going to be what I want to do. It was the perfect time. And so what drew me was opportunity, and really just prayer. And that's just the protection of the Holy Spirit, just being in the way for me.
Oh, for
thankful.
Sure.
Leaning not on your own understanding.
That's right.
I mean, that's the only way that you get to the really true, bigger goal, you know?
That's true.
In our society, it's always about the money.
Yeah.
But the money is temporary, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sustain you if you don't actually follow what's in your heart to do. So for you to be doing that at 22 that's pretty good.
I had some good people around me. I was surrounded by really great people and mentors and people who, like, told me to go do stuff, you know? Like, sometimes in our culture, volunteering is a concept that's hard to digest, especially when you don't have the things you need for yourself. Like, how do you give up? It's counterintuitive.
Right. Yeah.
So I volunteered so much during that season. And because there was nothing else to do, I was looking for work. I was trying to figure things out. I had been fired from my job. And I couldn't get, I was released. And so I volunteered because I had people in my life that said, come with me, I'm doing this. Try this, you know. So I sat in on, you know, we were at a church together and sat in on funerals. I would never do that. I sat in street ministry. I helped with children. And it was just like in me, like, I guess I have something to do. And all that time, there was so much equipping that was happening in that time that in hindsight, especially when I do what I do now, I'm like, oh, yes. You know, these were things that were, God was like, this was always for you, but your character, your understanding, that muscle, I had to work that thing out in you. You weren't doing it on your own. So that period of, I think I was unemployed for like 10 months and I was just volunteering, you know.
You know, one of the things that we talk about here is this idea of going through or having a heaviness in our lives and not having a word for it or not knowing what to call it. Would that time be that for you, or do you have another time in mind where you had that heaviness and didn't have words?
Yeah, I'm sure many times that has happened to me. That definitely was that. I wasn't really quite sure why. I was still blaming, like, why me? You know, I was still in that. Why do I have to feel this way? You know, and of course, on the other side of that, you have so much insight. But there was so much character. I could not lead other people, other families in the situations that they're in had I not, we don't know that he's a provider until you lack. I can say anything. I grew up in church, as you guys heard. I grew up in church. So I could say all this stuff. But I can't know him to be that unless I know him to be that, right? And so all through that season, and 10 months is nothing in the grand scheme of life. Of course, when you're in it, it's an eternity. But you're in it and you're going, why do I have to feel this way? And I remember one time I was cleaning. I worked for a group home. I went in and I got a job for a group home. This guy had seizures and he had an accident in the bathroom. And I have to go clean that up. And he can't do it for himself. I'm cleaning it up. And I actually said in my head, why me? And I heard so clearly, God said, why not you? Why do you think that you're beyond serving a man who cannot clean up his bathroom? And I started my new job a month after that. It was almost, I can remember moments where it was like, why not? Why not you? Why are you so strong? You think you're so strong, I preached a sermon this past week at a church, and there's this psalm in Psalm 30 where David's like, when I was prosperous, I was as strong as a mountain because of your favor. But then you left and I was destroyed, just like as quickly, like, oh, I'm prosperous, I'm strong. And then soon as, God leaves, oh, I'm destroyed, So I think those were a lot of the moments that I was having, and I didn't know what to call it, but they were a lot of revelation. We do the Johari window in one of the classes we at Habitat, and I often ask, we divide the class between ladies and men. But in our ladies class, I'll say, who's in your quadrant, your blind quadrant, and they there's a lot who say, well, nobody. It's like, nobody? And this isn't just to call you out, it's to call you up too, right? It's someone saying, not just you have a tendency to do this negative thing, but like, you are an entrepreneur. You've always had ideas. You can write curriculums. You can do that. Like, having people in that blind spot who call you up too is critical. And then it is interesting, as a person who's been so privileged to have that for my life, how many adults who are raising other children or raising their own children say, I don't have anybody.
So a good portion of what we talk about is giving language to all of these types of things, even this idea that I don't have that, or I don't see that, or not feeling seen, and we call it grief. And I'm just curious, for you, what does the word grief mean to you today? And has it changed over time?
After grief recovery. Honestly, it was the only place in my life where someone sought to define it. We all felt it. You can't escape it in this life, this body. We all watched each other go through it, whatever that may be. We minimized each other's grief, my family, not because we didn't like each other, because people don't understand. Right. Why are you upset because of that? You're this now, whatever the case may be. So grief recovery, that it's a change, and that's the definition I've carried since, which has been several years now. And I love that. I think it's fair. It's a fair definition, any change. So that's what it is to me now.
That's a good way to think about it. I know when I took the training to be a specialist, I had been in the class maybe 2 hours, and I'd raise my hand. I was like, wait a minute, go back to the definition? Because this is not what I have in my brain at all around what this is, but it's making sense to me, and it's helping me to understand something that wasn't related to death. Like, she hadn't gotten into all of what grief entails. I really had to, no, I need you to define this again for me.
Yeah. The reality is that we invest mentally into a concept of someone, and when that is lost, whether it's your fault, their fault, whatever, that's grief. Mm-hmm. And even if that truth helps you have a more healthy life, that's still grief. Mm-hmm. That's your parents. That's the people who raised you. When you realize, oh, they're human beings. Mm-hmm. They make mistakes, and that's grief. Anything with your own identity, like realizing that you are I went to a school I was the only Black person in my grade for 8 out of the 9 years.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
And it's from kindergarten through 8th grade, right? So first grade, Ashley was in my class, and then she left in second grade.
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley, where'd you go, Ashley? But I always knew I was a Black girl because I was raised by very proud Black women and families. But when they realized I was Black, that's a grief, that's a loss. That's my hair's different, and I'm gonna explain this for the rest of my life. Like, that is grief, because until I realized that was something I was going to explain, I was living a life as if it didn't matter. Right? And of course, in maturity, we embrace it. We get excited to share. That's, the time of life I'm in now. But what comes before that is, I have to explain who I am. And that is grief. I remember I went on a school trip, and it was the first overnight trip. And my mom was like, do not wash your hair. You don't do that. I'm like, I know, but everybody here does. And I don't want to be dirty. Like, and because we were sharing beds. I don't want to be dirty. And she's like, mom was like, whatever, you're not dirty, and do not come back looking crazy, But I just remember that, like, balance of, like, but Mom, you don't understand, everybody around me, they have to do this, and I know I don't have to do this, but the implication that comes with that is that I'm not clean. And that's not an environment my mom grew up in. So she was like, what is the big deal?
Right.
So yeah,
that's a grief itself.
It's a grief itself.
Like that communication, trying to explain something or trying to be heard. And at the end of the day, it's a child explaining a situation to an adult.
Right.
So you're speaking very eloquently today.
Yeah. It didn't come out that way.
It's like, and no.
It's a no.
It's a no.
That's the complexity of it, because it's invisible how much of that stuff that we carry around every day. And it's like you have all of that, and then I'm supposed to do my job.
Right.
I'm supposed to be polite and kind.
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to take a break for myself. I'm supposed to have time for the Most High.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do. It's like, okay, this bag is heavy.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that there was a bag until now.
That's right.
Right? And naming it gives us permission to say, okay, that's what it is. That's the thing that's happening. And also gives us a way to address it.
I am not saving anybody by killing myself. Right? Like this, well, I have to show up because of this. But ultimately, if I'm going to be the best for anybody else, I really do have to take showing up for myself seriously. And whether that's through rest or through pushing myself or whatever the case, I definitely feel like that perspective. Because what happened is I pushed, and then I really did let people down. When it would have been a lot easier just to tell the truth about where I was. And there's a lot more grace on the other end. There are parameters on paper that you can almost fall behind if you want to. Family's where the line for me is always challenging, in that there is always this unspoken expectation, obligation, and lack of understanding and lack of language, right? And so family, I have a great family, but there is this, like, you wouldn't do this for somebody, like, so what, you're tired, like, and sometimes you do push through. Like, I'm not gonna be here like, don't call me after these hours, always.
The hood is on.
Yeah, that's right, the hood, I am tired.
Just in the picture.
Yeah,
don't say anything, just in the picture.
Don't nod for me. But family and boundaries is one of those things that's very difficult. So we have to really take some time to ask ourselves, what story are we telling ourselves about who we are in our family and what we believe that means? Because it's okay to tell a family member, that's not what that means for me, right? And the good news is each generation, if it be God's will, gets healthier.
At least with my grandparents, they didn't really dissect issues. And maybe they didn't have the capacity, because that was all they could do to keep waking up the next day. Because I gotta. Whereas now, we say, well, what that was? That was depression. That was this, that was that. And we have learned to love the person and say that's what it was. And also give them the grace that they were doing the best they could, considering, like, you don't have to throw away. My grandparents felt like you had to throw away everything because someone had something they were dealing with. And it's like, no, it can be and.
Yes.
It can be and. So.
Yeah, two things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting, we're laughing and sharing around lessons learned from grief.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, culturally speaking, especially in Western civilization, we have been taught to avoid or try to turn and to make it something else. And Danielle, you said it beautifully earlier, that grief in and of itself isn't a thing. It's a word used to describe many things because there are complexities in this experience. It's a good landing point to get us all on the same page of all of the things we might be feeling due to a situation.
Yeah, that's good.
Using the word grief is helpful, though, because we do as a culture honor that grief is allowed certain things, right? So if I just miss a friend that moved away, you might not give me that much leadway. But say I'm grieving the death of that friend, you'd give me a little more room with the emotions that I would feel related to that.
There's reverence behind the name, the word grief.
And one of the things that we do in our 8 weeks together is we take the hierarchy out of grief, giving each emotion permission to happen and then also complete itself. I'm a big proponent of emotions have to complete themselves or they will repeat. And emotions are as irritating as a broken record when it keeps skipping and saying the same thing over and over again. If you do not let an emotion complete itself, even joy becomes manic if you just let it repeat itself over and over and over and not let it complete itself.
What gets in the way of completing an emotion?
Our judgment. Conversations are different in different countries, right? But our perception of how much is too much.
Yeah.
As a culture, we make a lot of room for capitalist ideas, but not person-centered ideas. Emotions are person-centered. And so there's not a lot of room for big emotions in our lives. And so we apologize a lot. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Why am I sorry I didn't hear you? Right? So I do think that that's we were not, well, I'm not going to say we were not, because I believe there are a lot of families who are speaking different, teaching different, living differently in this season. But overall, emotions were not taught valuable, especially in the body of faith. We were taught that emotions were not to be trusted. They were the reason we were sinning and all of these things. And so that we shouldn't trust our emotions at all, that we should instead trust God without any emotions.
Which, how? But I also feel like we were taught large emotions was like opposite of having faith. My emotions of grief or loss or regret, that, because you feel that way, you must not be praying. You know, and it's like, well, God's not running from my emotions. Like, that's sometimes what bothers me, is that we make God so small and so surface level, as if there's anything in this body that I can do that it's going to make him like fall.
Come on.
Like,
Listen.
you think God, the creator of the universe, is feeling, some way because I'm sorry? Like, no, he's here with me. He's working with me through that, or that I'm sad, or that I'm happy, or that I took advantage of something that I shouldn't have. Whatever the case, these emotions are not throwing God by surprise. And I feel like sometimes, you're right, we weren't really allowed to. It always had a statement about God, your relationship with him, or lack thereof, because you had an emotion.
All of these myths were connected to, if I can accomplish the goal of appearing as if something hasn't bothered me, I have somehow won. And so if they say you're so strong, this idea of being strong for others, the only reason folks are ever told that is because they don't look like what they've been through.
Right. Right.
And depending on how you look at them, you can see it. So like the image that comes to mind is a person who looks stoic on the outside, But if you were to take an x-ray or an image of their insides, they've got ulcers and different things like that. Illness that we, we hold in our bodies. Or even a better analogy would be, the one we talk about all the time, the duck on the top of the water and the feet up underneath. Now you want to get that's an image. That's an image.
Yeah.
And so it's almost as if our society says that appropriate response to grief is dishonesty.
Yep.
Be dishonest about how you feel. Be dishonest about how I'm treating you. And if you do that and I'm not uncomfortable with you, then you've accomplished.
I think you said something so profound about a friend of mine who lost someone very close to her, and you said, hey, when you see her, don't, that whole you look so good and you look like you're doing well, like what you're really saying is it's easier to see you. And I had to step back because it's so true. It's like, oh, it's hard to be around someone grieving because we, our society doesn't teach us how to be in it with somebody. And when you say someone's looking better, and they might be looking better, but at the core, is it just that you're more comfortable, but they're not exuding their grief and their emotions, right? You're more comfortable. You're easier for me to be around,
Like I can stand to look at you now.
Yeah, I can stand to look at you now because before I can't stand to look at you.
I couldn't see you so sad.
Which is a real emotion, but that's the truth versus the alternative.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that it's making me uncomfortable because then that makes me look selfish and bad and everything too. But that's a big part of it. And also when you were mentioning the spiritualizing that we do, like we're good to be like, hold those thoughts captives, and like I didn't say nothing about no thought. I said I felt like I didn't say I feel angry. I am angry. But you want to just replace it with something, but you cover it up. And so to answer your question, for me, like avoidance is one of those things that gets in the way of us actually completing. And if your natural fight, flight impulse like mine is flight, so I'm easily like,
gone.
Okay, you said don't look at it. Don't think about it. Don't. But it's not gone. And we underestimate the impact on our bodies of holding all of these intense emotions. And now I'm wondering why I have all kinds of issues happening. And the older we get, your body is like, okay,
body keeps
it's been
score.
10,000 days I've been doing this thing.
It does. The body keeps score.
It does.
There's so much science left on the impact of our emotional dysregulation and what it's having on our bodies and how our bodies are responding. Just because science doesn't currently see clearly the correlation, and there's some studies that are saying that the correlation to not expressing stuffing or, even broken heart syndrome often comes up when I think about this. Our body does respond to our unhealthy interaction with our emotions. And so normalizing the hardest of emotions, that being grief and things associated around grief, we have found that we've liberated individuals to have conversations about all types of emotions. Being able to talk about what you're grieving makes room for you to see what you're celebrating. If you cannot say, I miss my friend, for example, you won't be able to say, I value friendship if you didn't acknowledge that friend not being there,
Or in order to miss them, there was something of value they brought to your life. And then you find yourself reminiscing about, this was good for me. Like, thank you. People typically like that exercise. I think about the scripture you're saying about taking every thought captive, and that's so true. And I think about that all the time, but it's like, in order to take it, I had to assess it first. So give me the room to assess it. Give me a room to assess the emotion, the thought, all of this. It doesn't just happen and I'm like lassoing it because I don't even know what's happening. Like, I'm living it. I'm doing it. But when I have the agency and the language and the time to actually assess it, then I can take it and hold it captive. But until then, I don't even know what I'm dealing with. I don't even know the thought. Thoughts are just happening. I'm not I'm not choosing them. They're happening, or emotions rather. So some of that too is just important to me. Like, give people the time to assess. Like, they said some crazy stuff. Okay, they said some off the wall stuff. Okay, what's going on? Give them a minute to figure that out.
That's those undelivered communications. one of the things, we came from a ministry that really pushed grief recovery as a necessity for before you get into ministry. And it's interesting. You can take this program and take it at face value and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. But it's one of those types of experiences that once you go through it, it comes back around real good, like spaghetti on the second day. This idea that the steps and processes and things we go through during the 8 weeks allows us to not only name our own story, but then we're also able to name to identify the impact of those experiences and take time with it and say, how did I feel about each of these things? Our worlds, for a lot of us, our worlds, especially as women of color in this culture, there's not a whole lot of time to check to see how you're feeling, because there's always an audience and there's always someone counting on you, depending on you. You're always, representing the culture.
Yeah.
Like, woe is this if I'm the poster
too heavy.
child.
Yeah. Don't make me
listen.
disappoint you. I got rid of Anita Baker. I mean, come on. Let's start there.
Just today.
That was today.
Today
start
you
there.
did. And cornbread.
And
Some
cornbread.
folks are still trying
Yeah,
to
they're
figure
still
you
going
out.
through. They've turned, I'm sorry. You lost followers.
And what? And girlfriends.
And girl.
Ma'am, you just trifecta. Who are you?
I'm going to shake my head like in 5 hours. I'm going to be like, girlfriends.
Girlfriends.
Love them.
Yeah. How has healing changed the way you show up for others?
Grace. I am a person, I went to a service once and a person said, hey, if you operate in truth more, if your truth is your natural go-to, then work on your grace this week. And if grace is your go-to, then work on your truth this week. You need both, right? And I'm a truth first person, grace second. And so healing helps me show more grace, because I can only have grace for what I know God has helped me through, and my family, my community has helped me through. How dare I not extend grace? And that's how I show up more for people. Like, okay, this is happening. What do you need from me? Because typically I am a truth person, so I do have to ask. Are we going for advice? Are we going for direction? Or are we going for an ear? Do you want to joke every 3 minutes? Like, what do you want to just lay and talk and watch a show and eat? I've learned to say that, because I know that in my healing, I didn't always need the thing that Courtney would have provided. I needed someone to just like, let's just go somewhere. Let's just do something, So I think that's helped me show up for people, asking them and if they don't know, okay, that's fine. When let me know, or I'll be here until then, but asking what people need.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that truth grace dichotomy.
Yeah, I thought that one hit real good for you. I felt your energy behind me. I was like,
what would you say is
your truth?
Oh, I'm Grace. You know I'm Grace.
Yes, you are.
I'm so Grace.
That's why we work well together.
I'm like, ma'am, we're gonna have to ease up. And you're like, Danielle.
It's Grace.
Time.
It balances me out, because I have to like pause before I get on the phone or whatever. I'm like, okay, let me. And when I'm with other people, you see, you rubbing off on me. I have to just pump my brakes and go back and be like, how are you doing today?
My question, I'll be like, where are we on our way to? What's this? I will hurry. I just need to know where we're rushing to. The problem isn't that, that's not important. I just don't happen to know. If you can let me know, I promise I can.
Give me the importance.
I just need to know.
My facial expressions, it's not even my words, it's the truth is all over my face when I'm hearing something, and it's like, oh, great space.
Great space.
Great space. Great space.
I know, you're like, where'd you get that from?
Yeah,
Great space. There's the eyebrows, right?
Yes,
if I didn't say this, them eyebrows will get you.
But also, to your point, I thought about when you answered that question, something that I've developed from doing this type of work is that it's okay just to sit with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to
They
have
don't
the
even
answer.
know. Yep.
You don't have to bring something. Like, your presence is enough.
Yep.
And that was not something that was normal for me. Like, I'm always thinking, like, what do they need? Let me think. What did the Google say? What did Chat GPT
Yeah.
say? Like, what do you need?
I'll run to the gas station and get ice. Something. Give me something to do.
And that has to do with our discomfort. That doesn't have
anything to do with their needs.
Yep,
100%.
Because they ain't studying us anyway. I remember there was a mother at the church who was telling me about when her mom died, the funeral. She doesn't remember anything except how long it took. She says, don't worry about trying to do all of the perfect things, the I dotted, the T crossed. She was like, all she remembered is that it was too much and no one was paying attention to, to that. And most of the time people just need someone to be with them, because grief can make life feel surreal, almost not actually happening, and so for someone to be there to ground you, for you to hear them breathing, to feel their presence by touch, not rubbing and carrying on. Folks always want to be doing something. Be still.
Yep, that's what you can do.
Just you can be still.
Thanks for watching Soul Repair 360 Conversations.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow and reach more people who need this work.
We're the soul sisters you don't want to have to talk to,
but you're always glad you did.
Healing hearts, we want more conversations, that's the core.
Great space.
Great space.
Great space. Great space.